The future of healthcare is likely to take a more integrated, one-stop shopping approach.
A lot of our patients not only were struggling with healthcare issues, but they also couldn't really focus on their health status because there were so many other needs that were going unmet.
Suzanne Hurley with Connectus Health Clinics in the Nashville area is talking about the reason they just introduced a food pharmacy inside their practice. Now, they noticed providers were prescribing the right medications but couldn't get health outcomes to improve. In many cases, patients didn't have access to healthy foods to manage conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, so they started sending home non-perishable foods to patients who needed it the most.
The goal is not to allow our patients to be dependent on programs all the time. It's to help them get healthier, better educated, and to understand what's available so that they can improve themselves from all perspectives.
Connectus Health partnered with Second Harvest Food Bank to get the food pharmacy up and running, and they are working on a grant to add more fresh options like fruits, veggies, and dairy products. Now, the clinics also incorporate mental and behavioral health into their practice, and they can provide patients with transportation, diapers, and connections to financial resources. Other healthcare facilities and hospitals across the country are also starting to prescribe and offer healthy foods. Well, video doorbells are a hot holiday gift right now. Tomorrow on The Now, we're getting advice from the experts on your best option, and we're helping you keep your camera secure once you get one.
The sunset was spectacular this evening. Many of you sharing pictures on Facebook, and hopefully you got a good view of that. 30. That's our temperature as we go through the overnight, whereas we were in the teens in spots this morning. Clouds tomorrow. Temperatures a little bit warmer. We'll be around 44 for the afternoon high temperature, and that wind will be out of the south. So we kind of break it down. Noontime temperature 41. There's our peak afternoon temperature, just slightly above average, but still with lots of clouds. We've got lots to talk about here during the 6 o'clock news. That's all for the Now Indy. The news continues right now.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Never in a million years would I thought that's what my family would be facing.
Now at 6, youth suicide rates are skyrocketing. What's being done here to help reverse that trend? The resources that are available to anyone who is struggling.
We've got a couple opportunities for snow in the forecast, one of which may bring accumulating snow.
And I really thank you so much. Thank you. You came all the way here to help this guy.
RTV6 is working for you and getting results, helping a local man who turned to us get the money he needs to keep a roof over his head this winter.
The reign of a drug kingpin here in Indy appears to be over. The punishment that awaits Richard Grundy III.
Victor Oladipo revealed as the Masked Singer. We already knew Vic had pipes. We'll revisit our story showing you behind the scenes of Oladipo's music career. We begin tonight with a topic that may be tough for families to tackle, but one that should be discussed.
More and more young people are committing suicide or thinking about it. Youth suicide numbers are rising at an alarming rate, tripling in a decade.
Tonight, RTV6's Troy Washington is working for you, showing you the resources out there to help anyone in crisis.
Erin Maynard remembers the moment her world almost shattered.
My son has suffered from anxiety and depression for a few years. He was diagnosed when he was about 9.
The diagnosis was tough, but it wasn't until she was faced with the thought of losing her son that her world flipped upside down.
Last summer, he tried to commit suicide.
Her son is a freshman in high school now, and Maynard works with the Indiana Center for Prevention of Youth Abuse and Suicide, where she makes sure other families aren't as caught off guard as she was.
We know that 1 in 5 high school students in the state of Indiana in the last year has considered suicide.
Even more alarming than that number, the Center for Disease Control reports that the suicide rate in children 10 to 14 has nearly tripled in the last 10 years. A decade ago, social media wasn't as popular. Young people could escape constant contact, but now that's not the case with Facebook and smartphones everywhere.
Bullying is so prevalent, and cyberbullying is prevalent.
Maggie Owens is the ICPYAS program director. She points out that's one of many factors that have changed in recent years, making it even tougher for young people to cope.
The brain is not fully developed until you're 25.
She says young people don't always realize the finality of death because of their age, and though the topic of suicide used to be taboo, the best approach is head on.
I think a lot of parents, including me, think that if they bring up the topic of suicide, that they're somehow introducing an idea to a child. That's not the case.
Both women say removing the stigma plays a role, but talking with children and being direct makes all the difference. Working for you in Hamilton County, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Well, the nonprofit recently received a check from students at Fishers High School for nearly $8,000. The check will go towards putting on programs at schools in Hamilton County related to the topic of abuse and suicide. And the Federal Communications Commission is setting up a new 3-digit number to reach a suicide prevention hotline. Once it's put into place, you will just need to dial 988 to get help, similar to calling 911 for emergencies or 311 for city services. Currently, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline uses a 10-digit number that is 800-273-TALK. Callers are routed to one of 163 crisis centers.
If you're driving west on your way home from work this evening, hopefully you saw this, or it was in your rear view mirror. What a beautiful sunset and just some breaks in the cloud cover. But again, really what's going to happen next 24 hours, clouds will continue to dominate. Some headlines. Dry tonight and tomorrow. Wintry mix potentially Saturday. Not a big deal, not a lot of moisture to work with. Then the colder temperatures arrive as we dry out on Sunday. Just want to show you the Saturday weather system. It will have a bigger impact to the south and east. We'll be on the very northwest edge of this. See all that moisture streaming northeast? We may squeeze out some light rain mixing with some snow, but the much bigger impact will be east along the east coast. For us, 41 Saturday, the optimistic high, 30 to 40% chance we would have any wintry mix. Then on Sunday, 33, and we're drying out. And again, there are your modest kind of precipitation amounts, less than 1/10 of an inch, certainly.
They issued it in October, and this is December. It should have been here.
RTV6 is working for you and getting results after months of waiting and several phone calls. A Madison County man reached out to RTV6 hoping we could help him. He has no way to access his Social Security benefits because his prepaid debit card was never delivered. Our Nicole Griffin has been working on this story all day, and tonight she's getting answers.
These are the papers that they give you.
Marcus Randall, who lives in Anderson, has been calling for several months to check on the arrival of his Direct Express card where his Social Security money is deposited.
Every time we call the same numbers that we call to set the card up, nobody gives us anything. They give us another number, another person, and prompts, which my money is just out there. My rent is due, my bills are due.
People who receive Social Security or other federal benefit payments must sign up for an electronic payment option. The Direct Express card is recommended for people like Marcus who don't have a bank account.
They issued it in October, and this is December. It should have been here.
I reached out to the Treasury Department and Comerica Bank, the company that issues the card, and while I was interviewing Marcus,
hello?
He received a call from a senior manager with the bank.
This is the first time I've actually talked to somebody that honestly will actually is looking into it, is leading me in some type of direction.
The manager apologized and assured him she would help him get a new card.
Oh, I'm so glad she called you.
That was fast. You know how long I've been waiting on a phone call? I mean, just an answer. Oh, God, thank you so much.
Working for you in Anderson, Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
And tonight we have confirmed with Comerica Bank their customer service team is now working with Marcus to get him a new card. We will follow up to make sure that happens.
Convicted Indianapolis drug kingpin Richard Grundy III now knows his punishment, and that is life in prison. This comes 4 months after a federal jury found him guilty on all counts. Grundy and a group known as the Grundy Crew were linked to numerous crimes over the past several years. That includes overseeing a drug trafficking ring that moved thousands of pounds of marijuana from Arizona to Indiana. Grundy is even alleged to have ordered murders. Those charges were largely dropped by Marion County prosecutors, and the U.S. Attorney says that's what makes today's sentence an important day for the justice system.
Individual like that will be dealt with by our criminal justice system. He will be convicted, and he will be sentenced to life in prison, and he will never breathe free air again. And that is important And that is why at this point in time and at this date, and I'm not burying the lead here, LEDE, this is the biggest win for the criminal justice system of our community in the last 25 years.
In August, Grundy was convicted of conspiracy to distribute methamphetamine, possession of methamphetamine, distribution of methamphetamine, and conspiracy to launder money following a lengthy trial. Again, Richard Grundy III has been sentenced to life in prison.
An employee of the Indiana Department of Correction is now accused of molesting a child over a 6-year period.
That tops our RTV6 news feed. Madison County prosecutors have charged Thomas Frankum with child molesting. Frankum is the executive director of technology at the State Department of Correction. A department spokesperson says investigators were first told about the allegations back in August. That's when Frankum was suspended from his job. Prosecutors say the alleged molestation happened between 2010 and 2016 at Frankum's home near the Pendleton Correctional Facility.
2 men are now arrested in connection with the murder of a 60-year-old man and arson. 42-year-old Dwayne Scott Muse and 43-year-old Rhett Allen Martin are both charged with arson and murder. Indiana State Police began their investigation on December 6th after firefighters found the body of 60-year-old Daniel Regal inside a home in Fowler, Indiana. That's in Benton County. Investigators have not released Regal's cause of death. There is no word yet on a possible motive.
Police in Knightstown say they have identified 4 juveniles they believe vandalized Christmas decorations at the Academy Place Senior Living Center. Knightstown police say they found out Sunday that someone damaged and tampered with those Christmas decorations, including lighted candy canes. Officers tell us the decorations were set up for several holiday events at the senior center. Police say 3 of the 4 juveniles admitted to the vandalism. Officers are still trying to find the 4th kid.
The state's biggest teachers union wants lawmakers to know Hoosier teachers want more money. That was the top priority announced today by the Indiana State Teachers Union for the upcoming 2020 legislative session. The ISTA wants state lawmakers to make a $75 million investment from the budget surplus for a pay increase for teachers. In 2017, the average Indiana teacher made a little more than $58,000, which is 26th in the country.
The state is taking in over $400 million above projection. And we're calling on the legislature to invest $75 million of that into public education. We know it isn't a budget year. We know that it is a short session, but they have the ability to do that.
Neither Governor Holcomb nor leaders in the House have indicated they will entertain pay increases for teachers in the 2020 session. The other 2 top priorities for the ISTA are more likely to become reality. They are calling on lawmakers to hold school and teachers harmless from how I learned scores last year. And Holcomb and the legislature have said this is a priority for them as well. And the teachers union also wants a 2019 law that forced teachers to do an externship in business repealed. Holcomb has said he wants to change the 2019 law, but it's unclear if the change will satisfy the ISTA.
For more than a year, we have been working to connect you to job opportunities and training through our Hiring Hoosiers initiative. Well, this evening, we are checking back in with an industry overflowing with open positions. Horizontal construction affects each of us every day, and a new initiative is trying to get more people to be a part of it. And I found that applicants just need to be drug-free and show up on time. That large machine Travis Coons is operating to lay pipe at this project on 96th and Keystone on the north side is called an excavator.
There's a lot of gratification to it, knowing that you can do things like this, and you know, you're building America, basically.
He's been building bridges, highways, and overpasses for more than 20 years.
It's very good pay. I mean, it's long hours. It's hard work, but it's very good pay. It's satisfying.
As a heavy equipment operator, Travis is just one part of a vast team working in a stable industry known as horizontal construction.
We're talking about roads, highways, utilities.
With Indiana on course to resurface more than 10,000 miles of roadways and repairing or replacing more than 1,300 bridges, there's plenty of work now and in the long-term future. But this industry is seeing a shortage of workers. A new initiative called Work in Roads is trying to fill the void. It's made up of a handful of contractor companies and building materials suppliers.
All working together to promote to let people know we have got jobs. We are open for business, and we are eager to have you come to work in the highway construction industry.
Richard Hedgecock is president of the agency leading the effort to recruit employees in the industry, from engineers and inspectors to project managers and operators. The Working Roads initiative is aiming to reach a variety of populations who might not have considered this as an option to begin with.
Recent high school graduates, returning veterans, people who are consider themselves to be underemployed. We're ready to bring you on, we're ready to train you up, and we're ready to provide you with not just a good job, but a good career.
Travis wants more young people to take an interest in what he does.
I remember when I was the young guy on the crew. Now I'm the oldest guy on the crew, and I don't see that next guy behind me. He's like, where is he?
Working Roads is hoping to come up with an answer to that question. So now let's talk numbers. In 2017, the average yearly salary for a horizontal construction employee in the U.S. was $60,000. Indiana's average pay during that same year was competitive at $57,000. In the meantime, Indiana is increasing construction employment month by month, according to economists. If you want to learn more, we have a link in this story on hiringhoosiers.com. Well, scams are everywhere during the holiday season.
And we're highlighting 12 of them leading up to Christmas so you don't lose your money. While you need to be careful of Secret Santa and Secret Sister exchanges, the danger you could face.
Victor Oladipo was one of the masked singers after all, but that shouldn't be a surprise. We've taken you into the studio with Vic before, don't you remember? Well, we'll revisit that story to show you just how deep Oladipo's singing talent goes.
And potentially lots of color on the weather map for Monday. We'll focus on snow potential coming up.
At Ross, yes for less.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Some breaking news we're following right now that will affect the evening commute for those of you still on the roads tonight. This vehicle fire, you see it burning right now on I-465 near Fall Creek Road. You can see emergency crews are on scene trying to get those flames under control. We do see a little bit of white smoke, which means that firefighters are dousing it right now. So those flames should be out momentarily. Again, if this is part of your evening commute, I-465 near Fall Creek Road in the northbound lanes, a car fire has things slowing down. Use caution if this is part of your evening commute.
Well, a scheme to give and get more presents has a new twist this year.
Leading up to Christmas, we are looking at the top 12 scams popping up this season. And number 3, well, those are the Secret Santa and Secret Sister exchanges.
You may have seen this online or in a text. If you send someone a gift, you could get around 36 in exchange. It's kind of like a chain letter, but it's really a pyramid scheme. Plus, many people report never receiving their gifts.
And something new that we're seeing this year, a Secret Sister version where participants mail each other bottles of wine.
It's not legal to send wine or ship wine in all states, so you could be violating, a state law somewhere. But most importantly, the U.S. Postal Service wants to let us know that this is considered a multi-level marketing scheme.
Our Scripps team hasn't heard of anyone being fined for this exchange, but pyramid schemes do carry penalties that can include fines, lawsuits, and even jail time.
Average temperatures this time of year right around 40 degrees will be above the average as we get to tomorrow afternoon. Then we start our slide. Sunday will be the coldest, at least in the short term, where highs will be just above freezing. We're at 38 in Castleton. Temperatures yesterday did not hit 30. 36 in Martinsville. Temperature in Fishers at 38. Temperatures along the Ohio River did make it well into the 40s. Our wind out of the south tomorrow, that will continue to draw in warmer temperatures, and we should make it to around 44. Not as cold tonight. We were in the teens and low 20s this morning. Temperatures just below the freezing mark tomorrow morning. Back to the familiar gray sky through the day. Lots of cloud cover. Temperature 44. Although will be cloudy, will stay dry. It's as we go to Saturday that we'll have a rain-snow mix potential. There are your near average temperatures through the day with the south wind during your Friday afternoon. Saturday, 40% chance we'll have any rain-snow mix. And again, not a lot of moisture with this. The bigger part of the storm system is well to the southeast. Sunday, drying out and 33 degrees. Saturday planner, chance for that wintry mix in the morning. Notice temperatures are above freezing during the day, which means obviously any snow that would be around would would melt on contact, and there's the storm system to the south and east, and you'll just see a few sprinkles here as we get to the afternoon. There are your Saturday temperatures, cooler than what we'll have on Friday. Okay, early next week, depending on where the L ends up, this area of low pressure, kind of the center of the storm. There's the mild side to the south of it. Colder side is where you would have more consistent snow. Looks like we'll have a wintry mix Monday morning. As we go to the afternoon hours, rain with snow to the north, then into the evening. You notice how the cold air is catching the remaining moisture. That may set the stage for some light accumulating snow, especially northern and northwest portions of central Indiana. Keep an eye on that. 7-day forecast, temperatures much colder as we dry out. 32 Tuesday down to 18 Wednesday morning. So some snow potentially Monday, but there's focus on something else Monday. Dave?
Oh, yeah. Monday Night Football, and the Colts officially back to work today, working indoors. More importantly, though, T.Y. Hilton taking part in drills, officially limited with that calf injury, but certainly looks like he might play Monday night. Quick reminder, Monday Night Football returns to RTV6 Colts and Saints next week. Coverage begins at 7:30. Super Bowl champ Ryan Dean will join us. Former Colt Matt Hasselbeck. A few surprises as well, all Monday night. Good evening to you. Still waiting for Victor Oladipo's return to the floor this season. Until then, though, it was all over social media, right? His reveal as Thingamajig on the TV show The Masked Singer. Shouldn't really be a surprise, right? His singing voice has been fine-tuned since the age of 7 and on display thanks to his current album, VO. Vic in studio in the Sports Extra Spotlight.
Yo, we in the studio. Exactly.
The recordings come from here at a studio in the heart of Orlando, Florida. And with each visit, Vic knows the questions that are coming from the crews.
Every time they hear that I do music, they're like, oh, it's rap? You rap?
Do you like to see their face for the first time when they listen to your music? Like,
oh, yeah, it's incredible, yeah. Right? A lot of times they don't believe it's me. They think like I did something with my voice in the studio, or they think it's somebody else, so it's pretty cool.
It's been a little minute. It's been a little minute since I found this way.
Nope, it's all Victor, and the voice maturing since he started singing in the church choir at the age of 7.
So how does that conversation work? You're 7 years old, you're a kid, you want to play basketball, and mom says, I want you to be in the church choir.
Yeah, you can play basketball as long as you sing in the church choir. That's pretty much how the conversation went. I didn't mind singing, I liked it. So at a young age, I liked being up there and singing in front of people. And I liked hooping too, so. But obviously I loved hooping a little bit more than I love singing.
She said, take me on a plane with you.
He's been hooping and harmonizing ever since and working hard at both. As he puts it, he's always felt comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
How difficult was that decision to put yourself out there? I mean, it's one thing to be in the church choir, but to have these solo albums and everything, that's a different story, man.
I honestly think it came out at the perfect time. Because I felt like if I would have tried to do it early in my life, I would have been concerned about people, what they might think about me as a basketball player. But I've grown up.
Where do you think this can lead? I mean, hey, you got another career working here.
I don't know, honestly. I don't know. Right now, I just do it because I love it. At this point in our careers and this point in the athletic world, it's okay to do something else. You don't have to just play basketball, and it's okay. So it's a pretty good era to be a part of.
Victor currently has 2 albums released, none though since last year. Both are available on iTunes. Pretty good, isn't he? The News at 6 continues after this.
Call 1-800-CALL-KEN.
Deb sent in this picture of her granddaughter Savannah with a dog, Kaya. What a great evening to go on a walk, or if you just want to stare under the tree and dream, that's what